If you love dragons, then here in this video we will showcase the 20 oldest of these creatures to be featured in movies and shows, both live action and animated. If you're curious, then let's get to the list now. At number 20 we have Vaggar. The queen dragon of the show House of the Dragon, Vaggar has been around Westeros for more than 180 years and is destined to meet her end in the upcoming third season when she fights with Caraxes, who is a smaller but more ferocious dragon. Number 19, Bolyrian. Although not seen alive in the same show as well as in the more famous Game of Thrones series, Bolyrian was seen as a skeleton, more specifically as a skull within the Red Keep in King's Landing. He was around 208 years old when he died of old age and was the dragon mount of Aegon the Conqueror, who forged the Seven Kingdoms into one. Number 18, Smog. While Smog was never really given an accurate age by Tolkien, he was said to have ruled over the Lonely Mountain for 171 years before the Battle of the Five Armies, and when he took over Erebor, he was but a young dragon, and given that Glaurung, the father of the dragons, roosted for 100 years to become an adult from being a juvenile, that means that Smog would have been 200 or 300 years old at the end. Number 17, Shenron. This was the eternal dragon that was created by the Namekian called Kami when he was living on Earth. While Kami himself was 461 years at the time of his fusion with Piccolo, the Dragon Balls, and thus, ergo the dragon, Shenron was younger than its creator Kami. Some estimates put Kami creating Shenron around 300 years prior to the current events of Dragon Ball Z and Super, and thus that is his age. Number 16, Avisandum. Avisandum was a gigantic storm dragon with yellow eyes, light blue scales and dark blue undersides. He was the father of the main protagonist dragon called Ozymandias in the show called Dragon Prince. Although we don't really know how old Avisandum was when he took over the throne, he did however rule for 300 years, which makes him older than that. Number 15, Thumbchard. Thumbchard was the red dragon from the world of Dungeons and Dragons. He was a fat adult dragon who was the wormsmith of a place called Graxlot for 2 centuries, and given that in his world, an adult dragon is counted as one who is above 100 years, that means that Thumbchard, who was serving as the wormsmith for 200 years, would likely be more than 300 years old at the very least. Number 14, Verthrax Prerogative. Verthrax Prerogative is the main antagonist of the 1981 Disney/Paramount dark fantasy film called Dragon Slayer. This ancient and fearsome dragon terrorized the fictional post-Roman kingdom of Orlan for centuries. At 400 years old, which is his stated age, Verthrax is both monstrous and majestic, and her name was the Worm of Thrace that makes things worse. Number 13, Draco. Draco was a dragon and one of the main protagonists of the Dragonheart franchise, as well as the first dragon to appear in the film series. Draco appears to be one of the dragon eggs under Drago's care in Dragonheart 3, The Sorcerer's Curse, which is a prequel set several centuries before the events of the first film. Thus, that makes him several centuries old at least. Number 12, the dragon from Damsel. While the exact age of the dragon in the movie called Damsel is not explicitly stated, the story gives us enough to estimate that she is several centuries old, likely between 400 to 600 years or more, probably with the highest estimate being 1,000 years. The dragon is said to have been living in the Aryan cave systems for centuries, implying a long-term solitary existence. Number 11, the Red Death. In How to Train Your Dragon, the Red Death is a gigantic monstrous dragon that serves as the primary antagonist of the first movie. It commands other dragons with its rage and size, and forces them to raid villages for food. According to School of Dragons, there is a legend saying that the Red Death lives for 2,000 years, and before it dies, it would lay 3,000 eggs. On the 10th spot we have Leaden. Leaden, the dragon from Greek mythology, is traditionally described as a primordial or semi-immortal creature. While no exact age is ever given in classical sources, we can still infer his enormous age from his role and origin within the mythology and the movie called Shazam! Fury of the Gods, where he appeared with Calypso, and given that the Greek myths are over 2,500 years old, that would be his minimum age. Number 9, the Great Protector. The Great Protector from Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is never really given an explicit age in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but based on her backstory, mythological context and her role in Talos history, she is almost certainly thousands of years old, and quite possibly tens of thousands of years old if not older. At number 8 we have Yamata no Orochi. This monster dragon comes from Japanese mythology. In the 1994 film called Orochi, Orochi isn't just any serpent, he's actually the god called Tsukuyomi who transformed into an 8-headed 8-tailed dragon. He is also the lord of the underworld and the god of the moon, and transformed into this monstrous form 10,000 years in the past and used it to attack Earth, which means in his dragon form, he is at least 10,000 years old. Number 7. Manda. Manda is a giant sea serpent, also a sea dragon, and the guardian of Mu, an underwater kingdom similar to Atlantis. He appeared in the Toho movies. Although his exact age is never really revealed, his connection to Mu implies he's been around since that mythical civilization was around, which means around 12,000 years ago. Number 6. Eternatus. This is a legendary poison/dragon type Pokemon that actually fell from the stars to the Pokemon world 20,000 years in the past and landed in Galar, the region where Ash Ketchum was. Although this is the largest Pokemon, its entire body consists of blue crystals, resembling the skeleton of a dragon. So if you think it's only in the cards, you'd be surprised that it did make an appearance in the anime Pokemon Journeys in the episode called Flash of the Titans. Going up a notch, a magnitude more in age, here we have on the 5th spot Monster Zero. This three-headed dragon didn't evolve on Earth. He was an extraterrestrial. The ancient people on Earth recall that he fell from the stars and wreaked havoc and hated life. In the King of the Monsters movie, Monster Zero aka Ghidorah was the enemy titan of Godzilla after breaking off from his stasis under the Antarctic ice, which was later revealed in the novelization of GXK The New Empire, was caused by Shimu several 100,000 years in the past. Number 4. Tiiamat. So you might be wondering, how could I include Tiiamat on this list of dragons from movies and shows when she is from a different world, a different game called Dungeons & Dragons? Well, you should know that she did appear in Secret Levels this June. So she's basically another dragon from movies and shows. She is a Wyvern type dragon but with 5 heads, each representing a different personality and coloration, but all of them agreeing with the main aim of taking over the realms and ascend from her hellish domain. Number 3. Void Ghidorah. Yeah, Void Ghidorah from the anime Godzilla Planet Eater is an interdimensional entity that devours entire planets. He doesn't live in the traditional sense, but he does exist. Before he attacked Earth, he destroyed the Exif homeworld, the homeworld of the Exif people, some several millennia in the past, his age potentially millions of years old. He is an ancient transdimensional cosmic hunger, and his age thus might really transcend time because he exists outside of space-time. On the 2nd spot we have Cretaceous Gdora. This one was seen in the movie called Rebirth of Mothra. This is an ancient version of King Ghidorah who showed up during the time of the dinosaurs and wiped them out. Given that it eventually became Grand King Ghidorah in the present or future, that means his age is well above 65 million years. And number 1. Controversial, but hang on. This would be the bull dragon from the movie called Reign of Fire. While it is not really given a specific age in the film, it is possible to make a strong estimate. The alpha, or this bull dragon, was not a newly hatched dragon but the sole surviving male. Importantly, it is suggested that the dragons were responsible for the extinction of the dinosaurs around 66 million years ago and can hibernate for a long time. This implies that the species, and quite possibly the bull dragon himself, has existed since the end of the Mesozoic era. Before we end, we have a few notable mentions of dragons from books and other games. See, here we have Glaurung from the Silmarillion, who was 340 years of age at the time of his death. From the World of Warcraft game, we have Deathwing, who was easily over 20,000 years old because even during the War of the Ancients, 10,000 years in the past, he was already an old dragon aspect. Then there is the dragon god called Nicol Bolas, who is more than 24,000 years. Anyway, that's the end of the video on the oldest dragons here. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, fam.